G'day, it's Chris here from Aussie Military Aircraft Enthusiasts, and today I'm wanting to go through a little bit about the Quansheng UV-K6. This radio that I'm holding right now happens to be the one that our lucky competition winner from our Facebook promo will be getting. But basically I want to run you through the purchase of this radio, the setup of this radio, and how to use its most common functions specifically for us plane spotters. I know there's other videos out on the internet, out on YouTube, I've watched them. A lot of them aren't really geared towards us aircraft spotters and go into a lot of features that we don't use and don't want. So I just want to keep it simple and show you how you can get a great quality scanner for under $100. This is fantastic for people getting started in plane spotting that just want to listen in and don't want to spend a fortune on a more expensive scanner. Another advantage to this one is it's not able to transmit on airband. So I don't know about other countries, but for here in Australia, because it can't transmit on airband, it's perfectly legal to have and operate in and around airports. Just jumped onto AliExpress and I've done a search for the Quansheng UV-K6. So what we need to do is, obviously at the moment it's Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales. Need to ignore these prices a little bit. They're not the normal prices. Pay more attention to here, this crossed out price. That would be the price that they normally are when we come onto here. So normally when I'm looking, I try to choose one which has got the choice on it, because the choice ones tend to come on quicker shipping. They're more of a verified seller through AliExpress, so you're more likely to get what you've paid for. I've never had a problem myself. I can't guarantee you'll have the same experience, but definitely try to stick to your choice sellers as opposed to like this one over here, which is cheaper, $26, but it's not a choice seller, so I wouldn't go there. I'd pay that little bit extra. So like I said, the normal price there would be around about the $44. Now normally I'd pay anywhere between $40 to $55 for one of these radios. It just depends on what specials are going at the time. So if we click into here now, we do need to remember that we're not only wanting to buy the radio, we need to buy an upgraded antenna, because this one that comes with it does not pick up airband very well at all. We also need to make sure that we get ourselves a programming cable for it, because we're going to want to program in the frequencies. And for those of you that want to change the firmware and run the better firmware for it, you will also need the programming cable to be able to flash the firmware onto there. Now, I will go through that process later in the video. I will say with the custom firmware, you do have a possibility that you could wreck your radio trying to install it. So that's a risk that you'll have to decide whether or not you want to take. If you're setting up a radio, I am going to show you how to set up the radio without custom flashing the firmware and just doing the frequencies from the computer, just so you know both options. Now, when we're looking here, we'll see there's a few different options on this. That's not the correct type of antenna to upgrade to, but I am looking for one of these will have the programming cable as the extra accessories. So I'm definitely wanting to get this one today just to show you what it is. So I'm getting the Quansheng UV-K6 radio with the programming cable. You will notice the one that I have for the competition is a red one. You can buy a red or a yellow or a blue one, I think it is. They do cost a little bit more. There's actually no difference in the radio at all. It's just, it looks cool. That's why I got it for the competition, but normally I just run the standard silver one. So now I need to have a look for an antenna. So what I'm looking for is SMA female 108 to 136 antenna. Once again, the prices that are showing on here are not accurate to what they normally would be. So you can see this antenna might be $5.30 today. Normally it's around that $16 mark. I normally pay $15 to $20 for one of these airband antennas. Do not go too cheap. There are some cheap and nasty ones available, like this one here. It's not even the right frequency for a start. and there's no guarantee that you're really getting what you pay for. So I am going to pay that little bit more, get the better quality antenna. Yep, so this is our Airband antenna, the 108 to 136 megahertz antenna. This one I've used myself. I find it quite a nice antenna for the price. You can pay a lot more for antennas if you go down to your local radio store, Jcar, or order them like on Amazon or something like that. This one I seem to find does the job well for me. So I would get it now. So I'd also add that one to cart. So here you can basically see that I've added this all to my cart. We've got the Airband antenna. We've got the radio with the programming cable. Now, because it's really good special at the moment, it come to $58. Generally up there you see it's $71 would be our normal price. So that's typically what it would cost most of the time in Australian dollars to buy this setup. So well under $100. Generally your shipping should be close to free. This time $1.74, so pretty much free shipping. The stuff from AliExpress does take a couple of weeks to arrive. That's just the... Throughout this guide you will see both of these radios pictured being used. That's because the one that is red is going to have the custom firmware put onto it, and the one in the metallic grey I will have running stock standard firmware, just because I'm going to show you how to program both of them. So both for if you want to run a custom firmware and take the chance that you may ruin the radio in the process, and two, if you're not wanting as quite a good a reception and results on the radio but you don't feel confident enough to put the custom firmware on. I just want to show you both options so you can see them both up and running. So what we need to do is to put the radio into programming mode. We need to press the push to talk button, hold that on, and turn on the radio. We will see that the flashlight has appeared up the top. So with that flashlight properly operating, what we need to do is get our programming cable, open the side flap, push it really hard in. I mean, sometimes if you think if it doesn't work and it glitches, it's always because you have not plugged in that cable hard enough. So I'm going to take that cable and I'm going to plug it into my computer so that we can flash the firmware. So we plug the USB cable in to the computer, and now I'll be able to search for Egg Zoomer. You can see it's here, Egg Zoomer firmware. We can see here the Egg Zoomer UV-K6 firmware custom. Clicked on here. We see release version 0.22, which is the latest release, and the option here to flash with the browser. This is the option that I use. It is the easiest. That will take us to a link. We will have to wait for it to download. Which it's done. I now tell it to flash the firmware. I need to select that we attach to the USB serial controller, and then we will see that it will start working on the radio. So the flashing lights on top of the radio mean that it is working, as well as the progress that you can see in the progress bar on the computer. We can see here on the radio, we can see the screen has lit up and it has turned on. On the computer, it's saying that we've successfully flashed the firmware. What I'm going to do now is, if we turn off the radio and then turn it back on again, we can see on the screen that it will say welcome and exuma down the bottom. That's a sign that we've successfully flashed the firmware, which does look a little different to the one here. If I turn this one on, we will see it just says welcome, and the display is a bit different there. It's got numbers and not really any writing. I'll turn that one back off again. We will get to that radio a little bit later. For the moment, we're going to stick with our custom firmware radio. Now, for this next step, we do need to unplug the programming cable, turn off the radio, turn it back on again, and re-plug in that cable nice and firm. Now in Google, I've done a Google search for CHIRP radio. You'll see here that you can download CHIRP radio. It's free, open source, and it puts frequencies in your radio. Now we can do this regardless of whether or not we have custom flashed our radio. For the moment, I'm going to show you on the custom flash radio, and then I'm going to show you the same process onto the non-custom flash radio. So I already have this program installed on my computer anyway, so I'm not going to download it from here. I'm going to go straight into the program. So I'm inside CHIRP software. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open recent files. I'm just going to load YBBN, which is Brisbane International Airport. So what it has here are the frequencies used at Brisbane International Airport. Now, basically for any airfield that you're looking for, it's quite easy to locate the frequencies by doing a quick Google search. I'll just show you an example right now. So what I can see here is that the Google searches work quite well for the Brisbane Airport radio frequencies. It's got all my major frequencies that I want here. I'm not really wanting to add anything else in. You can listen to a whole heap of different things at the airport, but for me, I just want to basically be listening to the aircraft, not a million different things happening around the airport. So you can do this search for pretty much any airport that you want to listen to worldwide. Google's your best friend here in finding the frequencies. Alright, so what I've done here is I am in the CHIRP software where I have copy and pasted those frequencies from Google into the radio. So at this point, what I need to do is up the top here, you'll see there's the radio button. I need to download from cancel. So what I need to do now is upload this onto the radio itself. So I click on the radio, I click on upload to radio. I can see here it's saying the USB port, model number of the radio, it knows that I'm running a custom firmware, and I hit OK. It's telling me I need to make sure my radio's on, I've connected the cable properly, that I've firmly connected it. Like I said, if you have an issue with this, it's because you have not pushed that cable in hard enough. You need to push it in very hard, especially when the radio is new. Once you've done it a few times, it gets a little bit looser, but when it's brand new out of the box, you need to push on that very hard to get it to work. We hit OK, and we can see here that it's uploading to the radio, and those frequencies will now be on our radio for us to listen to. Click on here, we can see that this will now work. If I can scan, it will now scan all those frequencies that we have just programmed onto the radio. Obviously it's not going to pick up anything at the moment because we don't have the antenna attached. I did try recording the video with the antenna attached and immediately got air traffic talking over the top, so I've taken the antenna out so it's not bothering us. Alright, as you can see from the insert video, I've just changed over the radios, and this is now the radio that is not running the custom firmware. That means it will sound a little bit tinnier, the reception won't be as good, and the scanning performance will not be as good, but it will function as a perfectly fine scanner. It just can be better if we do the custom firmware. But if you don't want to pursue down that avenue, you're scared of either breaking it or you don't have the confidence to do that step, then just do this step. So it's attached. I've got my Brisbane frequencies again. So I'm just going to once again go radio, upload to radio. It's going to say there, my USB controller. This one is not Exuma flashed, even though it's saying so there. It's just running the stock firmware that came with the radio. So I'm just going to upload it there. And I've had error communicating with the radio, which normally means, like I said before, that I have not pushed that in hard enough into the side of that radio. I'm just going to try again. Try again. It's still not working. Another thing that can sometimes happen with this, with my computer, I'm not sure if it's all computers, is if I change the particular radio, it will want me to restart the computer because it's not reading it quite properly. So I'm going to go ahead and restart my computer and I'll resume the recording once I've restarted. Okay. So I have now restarted my computer, so hopefully it will connect this time. So I do have the non-custom firmware Quansheng UV-K5/K6 radio attached at the moment. I will upload the same frequencies to this radio. Okay. And as you can see, those frequencies are uploading straight onto the radio. The upload has finished.
We'll now be able to see that those frequencies are available. It does look a bit different to the other one.
I can hit scan. Oh, hang on. As you can see, those frequencies are saved in the radio. However, you won't get to see what they're called because that's a custom firmware edit. So on here, you see that's perfectly there.
Okay, so there was a step that I'd forgotten about when it comes to your non-custom firmware version of the radio, is you do need to do something manually on the radio itself to get your scan list operating properly. So here, I've got all the... So you can see I've got all of these channels programmed in, but when I try to do a scan, it only goes to the one frequency. So what I need to do is I just need to stop the scan. Scanning stopped. So I need to go into menu. I need to, If we start with our first frequency, and we'll do it in order, so we just go to our first frequency, we click on that menu button, we go down to menu option 25, and we hit OK, and then on. And we hit exit, and we go to the next channel. So we hit the menu again. You see how the SCAD is off? What we want to do for each of these channels is go through and select on. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you the results in a minute. Okay, so now I've gone through and I've done the same thing as I showed you how to do. So I've added each of those different radio frequencies onto the scan list. It only took me a couple of minutes to do. So now when I press and hold down that scan button,
Scanning begin.
So scanning begins, and it will go through each of those frequencies that were saved in it. So in this case, it's scanning the Brisbane ones. It's not going to pick anything up because I don't have anything in the antenna port at the moment. I did try to do this previously and ended up picking up some frequencies. So I've left the antenna out just so I can show you this without transmissions getting in the way and slowing down the process. So here's what we do. It's scanning. When we press and hold down the scan button here,
Scanning stop.
the scanning stops. Now, both these radios will operate slightly differently, the one with the custom firmware and the one without. So on this particular one, once we're in this mode, we just press and hold down the scan button.
Scanning begin.
Scanning begins. We want to stop scanning.
Scanning stop.
Scanning stops. Now, if we want to, let's say we're at a airport that we don't normally go to, we're only going to be there for the day, we just want to listen to the tower frequency, we don't want to completely reprogram the radio. This is something I do quite often, like if I go to Watts Bridge airfield near me, I will just go there for the day, I will type in the manual frequency and then return it back to the scan list when I'm back at the airfields that I normally go to. So for this one here, we need to press the function key and the 3.
Frequency mode.
You'll hear that it said frequency mode, which now means that you can manually add in your frequency. So let's say I want to listen to 118,300.
0.
It will now just listen to that frequency that you've typed in. When you want to exit this and go back to your scan list, once again, all you need to do is press your function key down the bottom and your 3.
Channel mode 9.
It says channel mode, and you can now scan again.
Welcome. Channel mode 9. Scanning begin.
You'll see there, sometimes it gets a little bit stuck up when you switch between the frequency and scanning mode. You just need to turn the radio off and then back on again, and you'll be able to access the scan. Alright, so now I've switched back to the Quansheng radio that is running the custom firmware. So I'm going to turn it on. You'll see here, welcome, and zoom down the bottom. That's showing that it's a custom firmware. You'll also see we get this handy text up near the frequency letting us know what we're listening to. So Brisbane Tower and this thing. On this one, I can just hit scan, and it will scan all of those frequencies that we had saved in. Press scan again to exit. Now, let's say we're at another airport and we need to listen to the tower. We don't want to completely reprogram the radio. We just want to listen to a different frequency for the day. So on this, we've exited our scan. We also need to press the exit button. This radio tends to get a bit jammed and won't let you switch back to frequency, so make sure that you press that exit button. Press and hold down the 3, and we'll see now that we just have numbers up on the screen instead of the name. So we would like the other mode, I would just type in 118,300, and you can see it's already typed in there, so I'm not going to go ahead and type it, but it's exactly the same. That would just be listening to that frequency for the day. And then once we're finished, Just hit exit and then hold down the 3 button, and you can see there by the text that it has switched back to the scan list, and we can press and hold down that scan button and it will start scanning. And that's how to easily switch backwards and forwards using both the stock standard firmware and the custom firmware. So a few last things about using this radio. It's the same regardless of whether we're running the custom firmware or the stock firmware. We do need to install our antenna. The antenna port's this one here, the SMA female port. You just screw in your airband antenna until it's firmly in. At this point the radio, if it picks up some Brisbane frequencies, may start chattering away. Just depends if I've got a plane flying past here. I am quite a way away from the airport, but it will sometimes pick up aircraft that are on their way in. The other thing is, I showed you this one before, which is our programming port. You also plug your headset into there that normally comes in the box with it. And here you'll notice your USB icon. This is just your standard USB-C port. So I find the easiest way to charge this radio is just to plug it into a USB-C port and this little light here will turn blue. And as we can see, even though I'm more than 50 kilometers away from Brisbane Airport, I just picked up somebody chatting to them from inside my house. So you can imagine when we're closer to the airport and outside, very handy to have this radio on me to be able to listen to the comms.
So thank you once again for watching this video. I hope that it's helped you to be able to find this radio and purchase it online, as well as how to get it set up for your local area so you can get the most out of this great little scanner. For more of our content, please like, follow and subscribe us on Aussie Military Aircraft Enthusiasts. And we also have a Facebook page that our great group of members love to share their photos of aircraft from all around Australia. So jump on board and we hope to see you around. Thank you.